Did not.
Thank you, Mayor. Ted Noftall, Chickadee Drive. Mayor, it's probably a timeless wisdom that a person making decisions who is not going to suffer the benefit or the consequences of those decisions really shouldn't be making them. And that is the situation we have in the city as we speak. We have an outgoing manager who is making decisions. He's not going to benefit by those decisions down the road, 2 weeks, 2 months from now. Neither is he going to suffer if those decisions are not well. And I don't believe that is in the best interests of the citizens of this town at this point, to have someone who's got a foot out the door making important, significant decisions for us going forward. If it's too late to do something this time around, it certainly isn't in a contract with a subsequent manager. And that should definitely be something that's put in, that once a manager puts in his notice, he's done. We don't want him making decisions going forward from that point on. I do have a specific question, Mayor. The contract that was signed with Halifax just a short while ago, Provision 4 said commencing on or before September 1st, 14th, contractor shall deliver monthly not less than 60 cubic yards. Why was that implemented September 1 and not immediately? Why not at the date of the agreement?
I'm not ready to answer that, other than the fact that he wasn't mobilized, that's all.
He sure was mobilized on Saturday past, and I'm just curious, was the July quota, was the quota met for July? Do we know that? Is that information in this room tonight?
I don't have that information.
And is the information in the room with you, Mayor?
Mayor.
We had requested monthly reports, so.
I think the September 1 dealt with the fact that he was meeting his obligations to Trader Joe's, right?
Yes, right.
So it was free board, just pull it out up until September 1? Is that the gist of the agreement?
Not really.
Is that the practical effect of the agreement?
Not in my opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Gardner.
Mike Gardner, 618 Ruth Street. I've got a tooth in my mouth made with that young gentleman's technology, the 3D imaging.
Seriously?
Really, they scan the tooth that came out of your mouth, they make a new one.
It's amazing.
Pop the thing in, yeah, it's great. My mom's 86 years old, and we were driving out to Best Buy today because she's taking a computer class out there. She doesn't want the young kids to get ahead of her or anything. And we were talking a little bit about the budget workshop we had. And I told her it looks like her property taxes are going to go up about 3%. And she said, well, that doesn't make her real happy, but why is that? I told her, well, 60-something% of the city's budget goes into personnel, so there was going to be like a 2.5% pay raise predicted, and that a lot of the property tax increase would go into that. She wasn't initially real happy because her Social Security only went up 1.5% last year, and she felt a little dissed. But I told her she was doing a lot better than people in the private sector, who over the last several years have taken a pretty good hit in the head, and their salaries have actually gone down on average. They didn't even get the 1.5%. But I told her at least that some of that money was going to go to refurbish the golf course. She didn't understand that because, she thought of golfers as being fairly rich people. They paid their own way and stuff like that. And I told her, no, unfortunately, that wasn't the case. That the golf course was sort of paying their own bills, but they were not able to pay back about $1.5 million that they had borrowed 22 years ago. Sewer fund. So that, the city was going to loan the golf course $1.75 million. She mumbled something under her breath. I think it was bad money after good. I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to it, but I told her probably what would make her happy is that her water and sewer rates are going to go up 3% or thereabouts, and explained to her that the city didn't quite have enough money to make improvements underground to the water and sewer utilities, so her rates were going to go up. She said water and sewer. well, why don't we just collect the money that the golf course owes the water and sewer fund, and then maybe my rates wouldn't have to go up. And I told her, no, she didn't really understand the way government works. That what we were going to do actually was raise her water and sewer rates to pay the golf course so that they could make refurbishments, rather than increasing the rates at the golf course so that they could pay water and sewer back so that her water and sewer rates wouldn't go up. And she asked me how that related to the budget, but she had this old-fashioned notion of what a budget is. That a budget is, you have so much money and you figure out how to live within it. And I told her next time we rode out to Best Buy, I'd explain to her what a budget was in government terms. Thanks.
Thank you. Dianne Gardner.
Dianne Gardner, 618 Rue Street. Mayor, Council, Mr. Manager, Margaret. Last week, our council made a decision to move forward to resolve our issues with Halifax Paving on a long-standing contract dating from 2005, which included at least 3 change orders and a settlement on Karachi Park. You agreed last week, as I understand it, that Halifax Paving will excavate no less than 450,000 cubic yards of dirt to complete our second reclaimed lake, and that they will complete all other aspects of lake construction. Further, they will deliver no less than 300,000 cubic yards of dirt, or we are to be paid the cash value of $3.50 per cubic yard not delivered, and that the completion of this work shall occur on or before December 31st. I would ask that, is there a schedule that's going to be observed? Toward that end, they've provided a performance bond in the amount of $1,050,000 to guarantee the items just summarized. If they comply with these items listed above, they will get their $1,050,000 bond back. If they fail to do that, they forfeit the bond and we receive that money. Either way, we as a taxpayer are deemed to have been made whole. Halifax Paving is then out of this 9-year contract, as I understand that. As I understand it, their responsibilities to us are ended. Okay, here's where I get lost, Margaret. It seemed that you said that this agreement will provide performance of all aspects of this contract. I'm assuming that all aspects means everything back to 2005. I crunched the hard numbers, I went through the whole deal, and we appear to be owed no less than $2,375,000 by Halifax Paving by the original 2005 contract, 3 change orders, the Karachi settlement, and that is if they finish the lake, the second lake. If they fail to complete the work as described above, we will get a bond for the $1,050,000 covering a contract where we are really owed well over $2 million. And if we only get that, and we only get that if Halifax fails to complete the items listed by December 31st, which would be a real mixed blessing. Last week, Mark Schaefer asked the original amount of $1,050,000 had been paid for the original dirt dug by Sin State and purchased by Halifax Paving. Mayor, you and Ms. Roberts appeared to say that you thought the original amount of $1,050,000 had been paid. Your statement was, and I quote, Mayor, "My understanding is that it's been paid." I'd like to know that for sure. Toward that end, I have requested hard copy proof of that payment for that the original amount has been paid. Tonight, I would ask this council to provide our taxpayers with requested documentation from our finance department. And I think a better thing would be to engage in a forensic audit. It would resolve a lot of questions. And as an aside, I really fail to understand criticism of those of us who are seeking answers on these contractual payments of huge amounts of money owed to our city. As a 26-year business owner, we honored our contracts. I would expect any business person would demand nothing less of companies doing business with our city. And I know they would demand that for themselves or their clients. This is a contract, this is business, and these are huge sums of money, and they are owed to the public's purse. Please get me that proof, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.